Recently, war has broken out again in the Middle East. I've seen videos of some really horrific things. A friend of mine told me, well, I know you're into comics and at least that helps you escape from reality. He couldn't be further from the truth. Comics are not an escape from reality, but comic books do help you cope with reality. Stay tuned for the video. Anachronic. Hi comic book fans, welcome to Anachronic Comics. Today, I want to talk about a topic that might be controversial for some of you. Some people think that comic books are just a way to escape from reality, to immerse themselves in fantastical stories that have nothing to do with the real world. But I disagree. I think that comic books are not an escape from reality, but actually reflect the world in which we live. Now, before you start throwing your graphic novels and trades at me, hear me out. I love comic books as much as the next person. I grew up reading them, and they have shaped my imagination and creativity in many ways. If you're like me, you probably grew up reading comic books and marveling at the adventures of your favorite superheroes. You might have imagined yourself as Spider-Man swinging from building to building, or as Superman fighting for justice. You might also have wondered what it would be like to live in a world where such extraordinary beings exist, and how they would cope with the challenges and threats that we face in our own reality. I still enjoy reading them, and I follow my favorite characters and stories. But I also think that comic books are not just a form of entertainment or a way to escape from the problems and challenges of the real world. In fact, I think that many comic books are also a reflection of reality and a way to explore and understand it better. Think about it. Comic books are not just about superheroes and villains or fantastical worlds and powers. They're also about human emotions, relationships, conflicts, values, and ideologies. They deal with themes such as justice, morality, identity, diversity, responsibility, and freedom. They tackle issues such as racism, sexism, oppression, corruption, war, and environmentalism. Now, I'm not taking a position on any of these issues. My point is that writers and artists give us stories about real-life issues that allow us to stop and consider these matters and how they may affect our families and friends, as well as people we may not know. For example, comic books like Watchmen, V for Vendetta, The Dark Knight Returns, and The Sandman explore the themes of power, corruption, morality, identity, and freedom in a complex and realistic way. Comic books like Mouse and Persepolis depict the personal and collective experiences of trauma, war, revolution, and oppression. Comic books like Black Panther, Ms. Marvel, Saga, and Bitch Planet celebrate the diversity and empowerment of marginalized groups and challenge the stereotypes and prejudices in some cultures. Comic books are not afraid to question the status quo, to challenge the norms, to criticize the authorities, or to expose the flaws of society. They're not naive or simplistic, but rather complex and nuanced. They show us that reality is not black and white, but rather shades of gray. For instance, comic books like Superman Red Son, The Authority, and Civil War explore the ethical dilemmas and political implications of superheroism. Did I just make up a word? In different contexts. Comic books like X-Men, God Loves, Man Kills, Captain America, the Winter Soldier, and Wonder Woman, the Hikatia, address the themes of discrimination, patriotism, and feminism, respectively. Comic books are not only a source of inspiration and hope, but also a source of critique and awareness. They're not only a way to escape from reality, but also a way to engage it. One of the ways that comic books help us deal with reality is providing us with role models and mentors. Comic book characters are often flawed and complex, but they also have admirable qualities and ideals that we can aspire to. They show us how to be brave in the face of danger, how to be loyal to our friends and family, how to be compassionate to those who suffer, and how to stand up for what is right. They also show us how to cope with failure, loss, trauma, and grief, and how to grow from our experiences. Another way that comic books help us deal with reality is by giving us a sense of hope and optimism. Comic book stories are often about overcoming impossible odds, defeating evil forces, and saving the world. They remind us that no matter how dark or hopeless things may seem, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel, and that good will always triumph over evil. They also remind us that we are not alone in our struggles and that we can find support and solidarity in our communities. Finally, comic books help us deal with reality by stimulating our imagination and creativity. Comic book stories are full of amazing worlds, characters, powers, and technologies that challenge our conventional thinking and expand our horizons. They encourage us to think outside the box, to question the status quo, and to explore new possibilities. They also inspire us to create our own stories, art, and expressions that can enrich our lives and culture. Comic books are more than just fun. They are a powerful medium that can help us cope with the realities of this world and inspire us to make it a better place. So next time you pick up a comic book, don't just read it for entertainment. Read it for education, inspiration, and empowerment. Thanks for watching. Be well, and I'll see you soon.